Hey there, I'm Chad Millman from the Action Network, co-host of the Favorites podcast, joined by my BFF, my companion, my compadre, professional bettor, Simon Hunter, my co-host on the Favorites podcast. Listen, we're trying a new YouTube-only video segment this year in which Simon and I are both going to choose a play from the games of the previous weekend that impacted bets that we had and extrapolate from those plays how we felt in the moment and what it tells us about the teams that we might have gotten right or might have gotten wrong. That helps inform what we're going to be doing in the following week. Simon, you said before we got on, I'm living my geek dream right now.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty excited, Chad, to break down some film with you.
We've never done this before, and I know you do it all the time. Like you in the podcast and stuff, you talk about watching the All 22, and I know you watch all the games again and again and again. And to me, the reason I really want to do this is because there are so many times that I think that a lot of bettors, whether they be amateur bettors, new bettors, professional bettors, when they are watching the games, have that moment in the game where they know it's lost. And like, even with take, for example, the Jets and the Bills, we had the Jets plus 2.5. Even when Rodgers went down, even when they were down 13-6, I never felt like the Jets were out of that game because their defense is so good. The first game I want to talk about here, though, we loved Pittsburgh. When I say we, I know I love Pittsburgh more than you love Pittsburgh. As a public dog all offseason, we love Mike Tomlin in this spot. We love them. TJ Watt was back. We didn't know anything about Brock Purdy and his return yet. Kyle Shanahan hasn't been good in this spot. So we had a lot of reasons to like the Steelers as home underdogs against the Niners. And Brock Purdy was really the unknown. So I chose a play from that game. And Hutton Jackson, our producer, is going to run the clip here for a second. I chose a play where in that moment, I will tell you exactly when I knew we lost this bet. Before we run the play, Hutton, let me set it up. At this point, the Niners have dominated. They're up 10-0. The Steelers had punted, and they had an interception so far. So Kenny Pickett had looked terrible. Brock had looked perfect. They're up perfect. They're up 10-0. This is the end of a 9-play, 68-yard drive. Simon, Hutton, let's run the clip. All right, so Brock Purdy's in shotgun, and it's classic 49ers, and stop. Oh, wait, let's go back a little bit just before he throws the ball, Hutton, because right before he throws the ball, right when he hits his back foot and he's about to throw the ball, Simon, I'm sitting on the couch with my 16-year-old son, and I look at him and I go, oh, fuck. And then I start to scribble down in my notebook, this is the play I'm going to talk about with Simon in the Faves film session. And you know why? Because I knew the second he hit the back foot, I didn't know what was going to happen next, but I knew it was going to be bad and we were going to lose this bet. Can you relate to the feeling I'm feeling when you see that happen and you know before the play is over that the game is over for you?
I would say I didn't have that feeling as Chad had. It was more of, wow, I can't believe Brock Purdy is about to go for this. Because again, Chad just said it, like this is a guy who's coming off a big arm injury, facing a pretty good defense. And you can see it right here on the screen. There's one guy wide open right now in this clip where we just freezed it. Do you see where that one player is?
Top of the screen, I think.
Yes. So he's got McCaffrey up there, or that might be Mitchell, one of the running backs. That's usually where that quarterbacks are going to go, right? Quarterbacks are going to check that down. What I love about here with Brock is he threw a 50-50 ball. That's how you win in the NFL. You trust your receiver in a one-on-one matchup. When the safety, you can see when we started this play, the safety was already too low anyway. So again, great design by Kyle. He gave him an easy open route, and we're about to see right here what Brock does with a great 50-50 ball.
Let's run it, because he will drop back, hit his back foot,
one read, and throw it.
And he did like, and there's Brandon Ayuk catching it. Let's stop it for a second. Actually, you know what? Let's keep running it. Go ahead and run it so we can see this view of it, and I'll talk over it, because you'll get to see Purdy drop back, hit his back foot, immediately sling the ball. And what that told us at this point, one, he's not thinking about his elbow at all. Not that he ever was. Two, he has so much faith in Brandon Ayuk, because we had seen it last year over the course of the season, Simon. Like, he had gotten better and better at connecting with Ayuk, who had been an underperformer even to Kyle Shanahan's had said that about him. Like, he didn't practice well, he wasn't performing well, and then Brock Purdy comes in, and all of a sudden he's performing better and better. Made a great catch, and when I saw this, I'm
Yeah.
like, there's not even a question to me if he's in. I'm like, Simon, we lost this game. So here's my question, along with my emotional well-being. Here's what I learned from this. One, these are a different, this is a different Niners team than the one we have bet against in the past when they were big favorites. Because I think Brock Purdy is a better quarterback. I think he's more accurate, but also knows when to take the shots and has a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
So that's impacting my thoughts on them, especially as we look ahead. They're big favorites on the road against the Rams this weekend. And the Steelers, I think, are in real trouble. And now Cameron Hayward, we know, might be injured and out for a few weeks. So, I think someone said to me that betting on the Steelers in rah-rah Mike Tomlin spots, you also got to remember, majority of the time he had Ben Roethlisberger. So maybe that had been clouding our judgment. But I've got different thoughts about these two teams moving forward.
So we'll say to your friend, Big Ben left a long time ago, and Tomlin still hasn't gone below 500. So clearly it works out for us long term betting on Tomlin as a dog. But yeah, it's the takeaway from Brock really is this is a team you can be confident in. Like, it's a guy who's pushing the ball downfield, and that's really what that film just showed there. Like, the guy is trusting his receivers, and he's throwing 50-50 balls, and that was a great ball. It was right over the DB's shoulder, right into his chest, right into a basket. So yeah, Brock, I thought he would take a step, but I didn't think it would be that big of one where he's pushing the ball 20 yards downfield. That takes a lot of confidence. And we see across the league, a lot of QBs don't have that. They try to play it safe. It's great knowing that he has a situational awareness of they're already up 10. It's in the first. He can afford to push the ball downfield in that spot. So NFL, you're not always going to be open, right? We always talk about that. College, guys will be wide open. NFL, you got to just throw it to guys who are covered and take the little windows. And that's a big step for Brock Purdy. The reason they got rid of Jimmy G in the Super Bowl, they didn't trust him to push the ball downfield, and he couldn't connect downfield. So
Right.
if they get a guy like Brock now who can do that, and that's what Kyle saw and believed in over Trey Lance, yeah, the sky's the limit for this 49ers team this upcoming season.
Still, I think we'll take the Rams at +8.5. All right, Simon, let's go to your play. Before we do that, I do want to remind people we have the favorites $100,000 pro football pick'em contest running with our friends from Bet365. Sign up season long. We're giving away $40,000 to the winner. Top 10 places get paid out. Also, there is a weekly contest, $3,000 in cash prizes given away each week, $1,500 to the winner. This past week, 10 people tied. They got $300 each. Paying for groceries, Simon. Keep signing up. In the season-long contest, your top two score, your worst two scores are going to get dropped after Thanksgiving. So even if you sign up after week 3, you're still in a good position. Simon, let's see your play.
All right, Chad. So I went a little different. I went defensive side because we talked all week. I mean, not even all week, months about this Browns defensive line.
Yeah.
And I thought this was a perfect display of you already had the best, arguably, right? Arguably, because last year Nick Bosa did win Defensive Player of the Year, but Myles Garrett, we all consider him number 2, 3, best pass rusher in the league. And they've brought in other guys around him now where he's getting a lot of single. And even if he's only getting double, that's a big deal for him because he's used to getting tripled. So Hutton could run the tape here. He's in such a good mood right here. He's dribbling on the field, Chad. So he's showing a guy he's about to do a crossover on him, and he does it. And he gets right up the middle, forces Joe to have to step up. Other D linemen backdrop into it. So I feel like a bunch of these plays perfectly display this Browns defense in this game. I know you're watching this game a lot.
Yeah.
We were never worried. We were never worried because this team had Joe rattled because of the pressure this front got. And this is a team that we're really high on just because this is such a great defensive front. So it was great to be able to watch this game. Just every play here, you see these guys are coming anytime he drops back. So this Browns team is a team that if they get a 10-point lead on you, you're going to be in trouble dropping back as a quarterback.
Well, look, we love the Browns. You're right. I know this was one of your 3 biggest bets for the weekend, along with the Jets and the Patriots. And so we were on this team for months. And in this particular spot, we think the Browns, from an interior perspective, talking offensive line and defensive line, probably have the best roster of any team in the AFC North. And Myles Garrett is a big reason why. They also signed Zadarius Smith from Minnesota. He had 10 sacks last year, probably the best bookend defensive end that Myles Garrett has had, which is why he's sort of not getting these triple teams that you talked about. And yeah, when that guy is on, he's pretty much unstoppable. And give me your take, like how much of this is, okay, the Browns defensive line is dominant and can be dominant against anyone. And how much of this is Burrow didn't look right. There were conditions. The weather wasn't great. Give me your sense of how much is the takeaway. This defensive line is so good, regardless of the circumstances.
Yeah, I'll try not to overreact, but they have another cupcake game coming up ahead against Pittsburgh, who their interior D line, offensive line, had a bunch of question marks coming to the season, and they were dominated by that 49ers team. Even Nick Bosa, who hadn't played at all, right? He came in this week, played really well in that game. Now you're getting a guy like Myles Garrett, who hasn't missed a beat. He's been there all camp. He just dominated this first game. Now he's in a primetime game on Monday night. It's scary, Chad. Like, I am truly scared for Kenny Pickett, and maybe they could get it right this week, but we've already seen now that Johnson is out, the number one receiver, and it's going to be all up on Pickett to figure out, is Pickens going to be his safety valve now? Like, who's going to be the guy to step up for him? And I'm worried that's going to be too much going on the kid's head. So when we're rolling the film here and you see how they're getting to Joe Burrow, I don't see Kenny being able to be above what Joe Burrow was. Even if Joe Burrow gets flustered by this D line, I expect the same from Kenny. So I'm with you. The weather was a big deal, so I'm excited to see them on a regular night, no crazy weather. But I still think this D line is that talented that if you're double teaming Myles, another guy's going to get there. Even on this clip we just rolled, Myles went through the left tackle and the running back who tried to chip block him, and it got to Joe Burrow. So even right here, it's just one of these things. It doesn't matter what teams try to do. Like, they're trying to set two guys on him. He's that good, Chad. So I think we just talked about it. So the fact that they're adding guys this offseason, this is the best D-line he's ever played with. So just everything about it, I loved watching the film just because what we talked about all offseason came to fruition. Like, this is that D-line we talked about. So really, really excited to see what they can do Monday night.
Which also means we'll be on the Browns on Monday night as road favorites against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Simon, this has been our first ever episode of the Favorites film session presented by Bet365. I am so excited we finally did this. I think it was fantastic. I hope I loved it. I hope everyone watching loved it too. We'll be back again next week. Thank you, Hutton Jackson, for pulling the film and getting this done, helping us achieve our dreams here on the Favorites film session presented by Bet365. See you back on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. We'll do more of these.